Morning all, it's Chris from the Ultimate Recycler and Christine's filming.
Hi.
We're in the van this morning, nice and early, heading off to a little town about half an hour from here. We've got to clean out a house lot. So we'll get going, and we've got all empty boxes in the van, and we have been there to have a look. We know that it's not all rubbish, and it's going to be worth our while, but we're really not sure what's in some of it. So come for an adventure and we'll see what we can find.
And this is us leaving our beautiful town of Nagambie.
What a great morning. Although it's supposed to get to 30 degrees today, I think, which is going to be pretty warm. What's that in Fahrenheit? About 80? Something like that?
Too early in the morning
Too
for me
early
to
to
know.
calculate. We might have to Google that. Anyway, it's a nice day.
It's a nice bridge.
Yeah, here we go, crossing the Goulburn River, central Victoria. And a nice old bridge. I don't know when this bridge was put here, but the bridge is down a bit. We have had a pretty wet year, but they regulate this river with a weir upstream. It's pretty stable conditions unless it's floods. This little town we're just driving through, it's I think about 600 people, so it's only a small town for us, and for some of you, you probably never know a town of 600. I know in Europe, weren't you saying in Germany, the small towns are like hundreds of thousands?
Oh, 20, 30,000, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we'll pick up that gear later. Very bright and sunny. So here's the place, it's been sold and we've got to empty it out. So I might back in and we'll go and meet the guy and get things happening. Oh, he's got the shed open. So here we are, we've had a chat. He's explained what has to go and what they're keeping. It's a very neat property, and he's gone to a bit of trouble of tidying it all up, which we don't always find. When we do house clean outs, quite often they're just left a bit of a mess. But I'll do a bit of a quick walk around. There's some council workers doing some roadworks over there, so pardon the noise. So the deal was, this guy's I think around about 70 odd. This was his parents' house. So just him and his sister, and they've got all they want, and we've got to clean out the rest. Now it's a very sort of dated place back to the 70s. There's some really cool retro looking armchairs there. So we get them, the old Willow TV tray, a vintage TV, but it's not vintage enough to be worth anything. All the stuff with pink stickers they're keeping, so they're quite organised as far as that goes. So very retro feel. I'm quite pleased they're keeping that recliner because they're almost impossible to sell. So I'll have a bit of a walk around the house. Starburst clock on the wall, it's pretty cool. Christine's busy in the kitchen packing up stuff. All the cupboards are full of just general kitchen stuff. We're going to find treasures amongst it, but there's going to be a lot of average stuff as well. But that's why we like to do complete house cleanups. You never know what you're going to find. What do you got in there?
I have no idea.
Ah, that's part of an old pencil sharpener.
Oh, of course it is.
Have a look in here. We often get really good value out of cutlery drawers. These bone-handled knives. They're not real bone, but they sell very well. So there'll be some good gear in there. What's this one? Is that some sort of grater?
Yeah.
Like maybe a little cheese grater or something. Not sure.
Or a foot grater.
Oh, do you mind? All right, let's leave the kitchen. Now, they do have to come back next week, the people, just to tidy up. So we have to leave some beds here for now, but we will have to get rid of those. But everything else in this room has to go. Beds are a real problem with our business because you really can't sell old second-hand beds. And it does cost us to get rid of mattresses at the transfer station. I have done some videos on pulling mattresses apart and salvaging materials, and I'll link one of them here if I remember. But they are a bit of a problem with regards to cleaning up house lots. So apparently there's some old clothes, vintage clothes in the wardrobes as well. This other bedroom, they've put everything they wanted to keep for now, so there's a little bit of stuff in there. There's not a lot of quantity in this house deal, which is good. I think there's stuff in the linen closet here, and we often get some pretty good saleable stuff out of linen closets. You get your vintage sort of blankets and quilts and sometimes some nice doilies and tablecloths. The old washing machine has to go, and we'll duck out to the shed. So you can see there wasn't enormous amounts of house furniture and stuff, which was good, because furniture really is rather difficult to sell these days, especially vintage stuff, 60s and 70s era, unless it's a really top quality retro brand. The average stuff wasn't very popular, and it wasn't very well made. Now in this garden shed, we have some cool stuff. I like getting into garden sheds. There's what are we looking at? A late 1970s Victor mower. We might do a video on that one day. A couple of nice fuel cans, a bit more kitchen stuff. I know the door's closed, but I think we've still got enough light. Now this can is a pretty good one. That's a nice old fuel can. I reckon that's probably a $50 can. It looks like we've got some gardening utensils here. Old hoses, the old push mower, they sell quite well just as a garden ornament. Probably get $30 odd for that. Not sure what's in some of this other stuff. There's an old Singer treadle sewing machine, not in the best condition. Usually happens with these. The top's only plywood and the moisture gets into it. But the cast iron treadle base, I'd pay $50 for one of those on its own, because you put a marble top on them or a big piece of glass and you get $100 or probably $150 for that. So that's pretty good. An old meat grinder. So all sorts of stuff in here. I do like these sort of sheds. I don't know what's in these boxes and cases, so we'll get to them shortly. And we'll just have a look in the garage. It's a very big empty block, so nothing much garden wise to grab. Now I was saying that these people, it was their parents' place, deceased estate. They've sold the property. Settlement I think is the end of next week, so all this has to go, and that's what we do. As long as there's not too much rubbish and we can get some value out of it, we'll do the whole cleanup. So there's a bit of a school desk there. I quite like that white bench seat, that will sell very well. An old TV, probably just scrap. Lots of garden tools. Now they did consider having a garage sale, but it's really not worth your while in something like this, because what would happen is people would buy the best few bits and pieces, try to get a bargain, and you'd be left with all the junk, and you'd probably have to get a skip in. You know, it might cost you $300 for a skip to get rid of the rubbish, or spend days doing loads to the local tip. So we offer a service that people seem to really like, because they can just basically drive away and we clean it all up. So he did tell us that little bar fridge works, but he's not sure about the big old one here. So a lot of just general shed clutter. It doesn't look like there's a lot of value. And there is stuff up on the roof. So not sure what's up there. Well, there's a nice retro esky, they sell quite well. And looks like some old tarps. And another few boxes of things, not sure, we'll have to get into that. Hopefully there's not too many spiders. I did see a little box here which has some interesting bits in it, some old fishing reels. So yeah, alright, well I better make a start. Christine's already working inside, as you saw. I've got some milk crates to bring in here and pack up the old tools. Not that there's many tools left, but hopefully we get some value out of all this. Alright, well I'll check in soon, we'll start loading up. So I've started in a little garden shed, mainly because it's going to be pretty hot in here this afternoon, so I thought I'd do it early. And in this little shopping cart, there's a few nice old tins. And I just thought I'd show you exactly why we like to do complete house lots and not let people throw it all in the skip. In this tin, which is a nice tin on its own, look at that, really interesting assortment, a lot of nice old buttons. I think it's a leather working tool. This tin is waterproof wax vestas. Vestas were of course matches. They've got a striking section on the bottom. And there's something in here too. Oops. Oh, we get more buttons. They look like military buttons. So, always like going through things like this. There's some nice early glass buttons. You can find badges. I've found gold jewellery. All sorts of things. Oh, there's even a bullet shell. So, do like getting these sorts of things. And quite often, if we don't get this sort of stuff, if people leave it, if people sort it out themselves, they just throw it all in the bin. That's probably an Air Force button. So, yeah, very cool. Like finding tins like this. And the other little one down the bottom, I had a quick peek in. It's a little box. And I don't know what else is in there, I haven't looked. But this one does have some bits and pieces of jewellery. Just fashion jewellery, nothing particularly flash. But, you know, sometimes it just ends up in a jar for a couple of bucks each. But it's nice to go through those boxes. This is a frame for a tennis racket. This looks like some child's squeeze box. So there's going to be some value there. Not sure what's in these other tins. Let's have a look while we're here. Shortbread biscuits tin. Oh, okay, we have vintage clothes pegs. A few more buttons. Some nice old scissors. This is all of the fun of doing this business. It's like having a lucky dip every time you clean out a place. And we always find pretty cool stuff that makes it pay. Of course, you get a lot of rubbish to get rid of as well. Can't open this at the moment. Hang on. Here we go. More buttons. And what have we got? A couple of old bottle openers. That one's unbranded, but they're quite collectible, and they're often branded with certain old beers. That's an interesting opener. It's got a ruler on it, can opener, bottle opener. It's branded. It's quite an early one. Whitting Slow. Now, they actually made pocket knives during the war for the Australian Army, I remember. That's World War II. So, all right, we'll keep going through here. I better throw all this in a box. I don't have time to sort it through all the little tubs and things today. But I've just about got this room finished. Some seriously big spiders in here. And there's a little bit of rubbish to get rid of, including half a bag of cement that's gone hard. So all part of the cleanup. I will sweep it out when we're finished. And then I'll move on to the garage. Have a look at this. In the bottom of this box, it just had a bit of rubbish in it. There looks to be a ring. Don't know how good it is. The way it's worn and the colour of it. And even though we probably can't focus at the moment, I think there's a hallmark in there. Not sure if you can see that. Yeah, I think it'd be 9 carat. Don't know what the stones are, but there we go. Finding gold in old boxes in a garden shed. Cool, I'll put that in my pocket. I better get this room finished or we'll never get done today. Small garden shed's empty now. Nicely swept out, brushed down all the cobwebs. There was a very large population of spiders in here. And I think I did see a little lizard, and I was expecting snakes, but luckily there wasn't. Anyway, that shed's finished. That's how we like to complete a job. And I've made a start on the garage over here, and I've stacked a bit of the garden stuff there to load in the trailer. That's some stuff over there that there will be a little bit of scrap metal recovery, and some of it will be rubbish, and I will use some of the firewood or the wood pieces. So I've started in this side. Again, I like to work sort of systematically, sweep up as I go, brush out all the cobwebs and everything, leave it nice and neat. And I'll keep going in here now. It's mid-morning now, the sun's got a bit of a sting in it, so I'm glad I did the garden shed early. And I've been packing a lot of boxes. Christine's got a lot of boxes stacked up inside. So now I'm going to empty the rest of the empty boxes out of the van and start loading some of the bigger furniture pieces, dressing tables and that sort of stuff. And then we can pack boxes around them and start getting loaded. I haven't looked in this sort of 1930s or 40s Art Deco little buffet unit yet. So let's have a look. They have a lift-up lid which would have had cutlery in it originally. Or, no, obviously nothing in there. So yes, this would have been like a little sideboard in a dining room for all your kitchen, all your dining requirements. Oh, this drawer's jammed. Feels like there's something in it. Oh yeah, nice array of shed stuff here. This is what we like to see. Little tobacco tin. Usually got nails or screws in it or something like that. Yep, cotter pins. Various brackets, some sandpaper, some nice woodworking chisels. They're always good to find, they sell well. A couple of big files and rasps, another chisel, some pincers and a coal chisel. Nothing enormously valuable at all, but nice to see a few tools. Benson and Hedges tin, there's some, looks like bike spanners. Nothing much of value there. That's a nice little round rasp. I might actually keep that one, that'll be a handy one. Good quality steel in those. Alright, so not much there. Some more pincers, a few saleable bits. That's alright. What's in the next drawer? Okay. Plenty more sandpaper. Some instructions. Sometimes we find some nice old maps and workshop manuals. So I don't mind finding instruction booklets, particularly when it's an older place, because some of the manuals for vintage equipment can be quite sought after on their own. Line trimmer there, not sure what the other one is. Let's have a look. Oh, it's the Victor. Oh, that would be the Victor that we found in the garden shed. That's alright, that's probably worth selling. Might not be very much, might be just $5, but better than rubbish. And that's the sort of stuff that people throw out when they're cleaning up. Don't know what's in this bag. It looks like just some door hardware, probably from the house. Or some cupboards, yep. And a few more manuals and things there. That's alright, not much value there. So, let's see if there's something good in the cupboards. No, not really. Looks like just paint. Yeah, just some cans of paint. So no real value there. The cupboard itself, even though it's an Art Deco piece, they're only plywood. They're not good quality. It's quite weathered. So there's really no value there. I might throw it on Facebook Marketplace for like $10 and someone might like to paint it up, and they use chalk paint and they shabby chic these things, and they kind of are popular. People like to have a go at them as a project anyway, so get a little bit of value there, but it's certainly not worthy of cleaning up and restoring or putting in my shop. So we'll keep going in the shed. Got to start loading the van, and hopefully we'll make a bit of headway shortly. The inside's coming along well. Boxes packed up. I just moved the old TV out. And Christine's been boxing like there's no tomorrow. And she's found... What have you found in here?
Oh, there's a few nice things there.
Alright, yep. There's some old Pyrex baby feeding bottles. Some nice uranium glass. There's only little bowls, but whether they're uranium or not, we're not sure. Have to get a black light on them. But even so, the green glass sells okay. These ones look pretty scungy, but you probably can't focus there. But that does say Stewart Crystal, so that's a nice set of 6. What would they be? Wine glasses? Red wine? Probably a bit big for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know. Anyway, that's a nice set. It's always nice to find some quality crystal.
Clean up nicely.
They will wash up nicely, yeah. Old pub glass. One very unattractive turkey.
I thought he was cute.
What is he?
It's a utensil thing, I think.
Yeah, it's too big for a sugar bowl.
It is.
And it looks Japanese. Is it branded? Ah, there you go. Yep.
Lots of tea cozies.
Tea cozies, yep. If it was winter, we could put them on our heads. A decanter. That looks like fairly cheap glass. Might be 1970s. Nice jug. This lamp would be 1930s, Depression era. Very common, but they sell quite well. I've got a box of chimneys to suit them. I'd probably get $60, $70 for that. Sunbeam Mixmaster. It's a more modern version, but they sell okay. What else we got? Anything interesting?
Oh, the rest of it's all packed up. Lots of good old cookware.
Oh, okay. Yep, I saw some vintage saucepans. There's lots of plain glassware, which we get often, and we sometimes have boxes out the front for free, or we give it to the local op shops if they need it. Oh, there's a nice vase here.
Yeah, I actually sell a lot of that glassware in my bar area.
Yeah. That's a nice Depression era vase. Pressed glass, you can see the seams down the side of it. That would sell well, I reckon we'd get 15 odd for that. Bit of glassware, it's quite scungy, isn't it? It's going to need a lot of washing. Bit more crystal. Alright, looks like you've got some packing to do.
Yeah, leave me alone.
I'll leave you to it, bye. Okay, it's now 2 p.m, hottest part of the day. I've started packing the van. Lucky I'm good at Tetris, we seem to be able to get a lot in the van when I put my mind to it. So lots to go there. I've given up on the shed for now, it's got a bit too hot down there. But I have plugged that fridge in and hopefully that's a goer. We'll wander inside and see what Christine's up to. I think she's just about knocked over most of the house. We've got all these chairs to pack, and chairs are a real pain to put in the van. There's always legs pointing all directions. But anyway, we'll get as much as we can in. The lounge is pretty much empty, other than the few things that they wanted kept here for now. We found that the air conditioner works, so that's pretty cool, literally. And Christine's found some great little toys. Look
Found
at
a
these.
couple more, but they're broken.
Oh, okay. Goodness me, that's rather interesting. What's it? It's a penguin.
Scary.
What's that one? Little.
Little jockey.
Oh, look at that. And that's a tin plate one. Does it say, is it Japanese? The wind-up clockwork mechanism. It's probably Japanese. And that would be 1950s perhaps. A bunny rabbit. Does he hop around?
I can't wind him, so but yeah, he'll bounce.
Okay. Now Donald Duck looks a bit freaky.
He is broken.
And a VW Beetle, a couple of other model cars. This is part plastic, part tin, but it's made in Western Germany, so that's pretty cool. Look, toys like this are very popular in our shops.
Skadoodle.
Skadoodle? What the hell is Skadoodle? Drawing and design machine. Are they in there or just the boxes?
Yeah, that's complete. This one's broken.
Okay, awesome. Alright, so we're finding some cool stuff. The kitchen's all finished, as in all the cupboards are empty. We've already packed all that in the van. The fridge and freezer here are staying. We managed to get the table in the van. So now I'm just sort of packing up all this stuff. What's that? Oh, okay.
We had one as a kid.
Is it a light or something? Or it's just a
know.
toy
I
that you
think
can't
it's
knock
just
over?
A useless. Well, you can knock it over.
You've succeeded. Alright, well he stood up again. Okay, we better keep packing. We're going to run out of daylight if we don't keep going. Okay, it's just after 3. We've got the house empty enough that it's starting to echo. All we've left in here is the things that the owner wanted to keep here. He has to come back here next week. All the kitchen's packed up. We managed to get the table and chairs in the van. The house is pretty well done. We do have to get the washing machine out, so I'll probably come back in the next couple of days. And I have to come back next week when they've finally, just before settlement, just to get rid of the beds and whatnot, because there's some stuff in that room that the owner wanted to keep for now. As I said, he has to stay here for a day or two yet. But we're pretty happy with our job we've done today. We've both worked pretty much non-stop, other than a few coffees to keep us going and some nice cold water. It's certainly been warm in the sun, and the van is chockers. I think when I close the door, the sides might bulge a little bit. So you can see she's loaded to the hilt there, and it's the biggest van that Mercedes make. It's a long wheelbase, and it has got a front section as well, and it's full to the roof. So we're happy to get all the household stuff in there, other than I'll bring the ute and trailer to get the washing machine and then the beds. A little bit of stuff down here I'll throw in the trailer as well. Some of the garden stuff, the lawnmowers, and I do need to get rid of some of this scrap and bit of rubbish which will go home, and we'll sort that, so very little will go to landfill. I gave up on the shed once it started to get too hot, but I got over halfway done. So we'll finish off this part now, and I'll do part 2 with my next load, because I think there's still a few good little bits in here. And I don't know what's up the top there. Looks like a bit of camping gear. The fridge I did have plugged in for an hour, and unfortunately it didn't get cold, so it must be out of gas or have some issue. So unfortunately we can't sell that. It's not worth getting it regassed. So I'll have to take that home. It'll go for scrap metal, or I might be able to make a worm bin out of it or something. So there we go. We'll finish this part 1 up now. Christine's here with my water. We're both ready to go. And I think we'll sleep well tonight.
We will.
See you next video.